3 sinister close encounters, haunted secrets revealed in spine-chilling true horror stories. Jenna lay in a restless sleep, the humid Atlanta air wrapping around her like a suffocating blanket. Suddenly, whispers floated through her open window, chilling her to the bone. Heart racing, she bolted upright, straining to hear. Shadows flickered on the edges of her lawn, twisting her sense of safety into something dark and tangible. Her neighbors, always so friendly, suddenly felt menacing. It was the kind of night where even the stillness held a hidden danger, echoing the hushed warnings from her daughter, Lily, who spoke of things that went bump in the night. It happened again not 10 minutes later. This time, the whispers crescendoed into hushed arguments. Jenna peered out the window, squinting into the darkness, only to feel a cold draft sweep past her. The sound of branches scratching against the window became an eerie soundtrack to her racing pulse. Shadows loomed, beckoning her to look closer. But what if those friendly neighbors were hiding secrets under their well-kept lawns? What if they wore masks of kindness while something wicked stirred beneath? Days passed in a gloomy haze. Bills piled high, and Lily had become a tempest of teenage rebellion. Sometimes Jenna found herself wondering if they were truly alone or if the darkness flirted with them like a tempting ghost. When rumors about a missing girl resurfaced, the weight of their suburb's unsettling past pressed heavily on her. The name was whispered in the same breath as a warning, a tale of innocence lost to an unkind world. Jenna couldn't shake the feeling that she was now part of that story, weaving her way deeper into a haunting narrative. Before we continue, I need to tell you something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to their system and many people are missing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and select all notifications so you don't miss future videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. That community meeting felt like a trap, a web of false comfort spun by people who smiled but never truly welcomed. As Jenna sat among the crowd, their faces felt like masks, their laughter echoed hollowly in her ears. Shadows flashed in their eyes as buried memories chained them together, a collective terror knitting the fabric of their lives. Why had no one spoken up? Why did everyone stay quiet about the secrets lingering like an unwanted fog? Jenna's heart raced as whispers of darker truths surfaced. The charming couple next door, whom she'd thought of as friends, suddenly appeared sinister, and dread flooded her veins. Then came the moment she feared most when she confronted them on a dusky evening. Knocking on their door felt like facing a storm. She was vulnerable, yet somehow, she needed answers. But as she stared into their unnaturally bright eyes, the calm exterior cracked. Their facade faltered, revealing something cold and predatory beneath. The taste of betrayal lingered on her tongue as terror gripped her heart. Just as she pieced together the threads of their deception, an unexpected noise erupted from the darkness, a crash. The sound echoed through the night and faded into an unsettling silence, leaving Jenna breathless and chilled to the bone. Inside, she felt the shadows close in, the suffocating grip of fear tightening around her. What did it all mean? The stakes were higher than she'd ever imagined, as the line between friend and foe blurred more each day. And with a terror that coursed through her body, she knew she had to protect Lily, for the town was harboring a darkness far worse than she'd ever envisioned. What lay beyond the unmarked door in her neighbor's backyard? The answer awaited, hidden in the shadows, ready to shatter her fragile reality forever. Jenna's heart pounded as she stumbled backward from the door, her mind racing. The weight of the world pressed down upon her. What were those people hiding? The shadows outside seemed to grow longer, twisted figures dancing on her lawn, mocking her with their enigma. With a tremor still gripping her hands, Jenna knew she had to reach Lily. She rushed upstairs, each creak of the floorboards felt like a warning bell. Sitting on the edge of her daughter's bed, Jenna watched as Lily's brow furrowed in her sleep, lost in a world the darkness owned. Suddenly, a noise broke the stillness, a soft knock at the window. Jenna nearly jumped out of her skin. Cautiously, she approached the glass, peering through the curtain. A figure stood there, half hidden in shadow. It was too dark to recognize a child? Or something else? Mom? Lily's voice, sleep-laden and startled, broke through the tension. What is happening? Nothing, sweetheart. Just stay in bed. The panic in Jenna's voice was unmistakable. She turned back to the window, but the figure was gone. The night loomed, heavy and oppressive, the air thick with dread. Were they watching her, plotting their next move? She decided it was time to uncover what lay buried in her neighbors' backyards. Jenna's resolve hardened. If they were hiding something, she would find out what. With a flashlight gripped tightly in one hand and a primal instinct to protect her daughter guiding her, she descended the stairs once more. As she crept outside, the oppressive heat of the night clung to her like a second skin. The moon cast an eerie glow over the ground, illuminating patches of grass that looked entirely too friendly. Jenna edged toward her neighbor's yard, her pulse hammering in her ears. Every rustle in the bushes felt like a harbinger of doom. What was that? A fleeting shadow flitted past her, catching her off guard. She whipped around, heart racing. Nothing. Only the cold breath of wind whispering through the trees. Gritting her teeth, she continued to the back gate, its wood creaking ominously as she pushed it open. The backyard was riddled with blackened trees, their gnarled branches reaching like skeletal fingers into the sky. The air thickened with tension as her flashlight beam danced across the expanse. Suddenly, something sparkled, catching her eye, a shiny, old-fashioned locket lying half-buried in a patch of dirt. Hesitant, she knelt down, brushing off the grime. As she opened it, her breath hitched. Inside was a picture of a little girl, the same girl who had been missing. Panic swirled through her. What had she stumbled upon? Just then, the unmistakable sound of a door creaking open somewhere nearby caught her attention. Jenna's grip on the locket tightened, fear rendering her nearly immobile. The neighbors were not just keeping secrets, they were hiding evidences of something sinister, something connected to the past, to the girl, to Lily. Before she could collect her thoughts, the shadows shifted once more, and she sensed movement behind her. Chills raced along her spine as she turned. The couple she had confronted earlier now stood at the edge of their porch, eyes glinting with a predatory light. Looking for something? The woman called out, her voice smooth but dripping with malice. Jenna's heart thudded against her chest. She was cornered. "Get away from my daughter!" Jenna shouted, adrenaline giving her a momentary burst of courage. "Why don't you invite us to join the fun?" The man taunted, stepping off the porch and beginning to stride toward her with an unsettling calm. The night was no longer just dark, it was alive with danger. As Jenna backed away slowly, the ground shifted beneath her, the shadows closing in with each step, making her feel like prey in a game far beyond her understanding. What plan did they have for her? And how deeply rooted were their secrets? With a suffocating dread, Jenna realized she was racing against something much more terrifying than ideology. She was racing against time. What would happen when the midnight hour struck? Jenna's mind whirled, grasping for any plan. The locket felt heavier in her palm, a stone dragging her down into an abyss of uncertainty. The couple advanced slowly, their smiles sharpening into something grotesque, their intentions woven in dark threads of menace. "Where are you going?" The woman called, her voice laced with silk but honed into a knife's edge. "We just want to talk." "Talk? About what?" "Your secrets." Jenna retorted, backing further away, her foot catching on a root, almost sending her sprawling to the ground. She steadied herself, struggling to keep her panic from consuming her. The man laughed, a sound like dry leaves crunching underfoot. "Oh, Jenna, you're far too curious for your own good. Curiosity can lead one to dark places, places that aren't safe." With each step she took back, they moved closer, a sinister dance in the dim light. Jenna knew she had to get to Lily. The fear for her daughter was a wildfire, consuming her thoughts, fueling her resolve. She raised the flashlight as if it were a shield, banishing some of the shadows creeping closer. Then, she saw a narrow path beside the house, obscured by bramble. It wasn't much, but it might lead her back into the safety of her own yard. In a split-second decision, she turned and sprinted, her breath coming in ragged gasps. The couple's soft, mocking laughter echoed behind her, forming an unsettling symphony against the night. Branches clawed at her arms, tugging her back as she ducked and weaved through the entanglement. Her heart pounded like a drum, matching the pace of her frantic thoughts. Had they hurt Lily? Or worse? What was going to happen when they caught her? As the porch lights began to dim behind her, she burst forward into the alley at the back of her own home. The air felt different here, thicker, more charged, as if the very ground was humming with suppressed energy. She paused for a breath, listening intently. The night seemed to wrap around her, suffocatingly silent now. "Lily!" she shouted, but the only reply was the echo of her own desperation. Jenna burst through the gate and rushed for the front door, every instinct screaming at her to get inside. She fumbled with the lock, her fingers slick with sweat as she struggled against the cool metal. Finally, it clicked open, and she shoved the door wide, the familiar space welcoming yet foreign in its stillness. "Lily!" Jenna called again, her voice trembling. But her daughter's room was dark. Fear twisted in her gut. She stumbled through the house, searching each room frantically. The house felt empty, shadows lurking in corners, every creak of the floor sounding like a whisper of danger. "Mommy!" Lily's small voice broke the silence as Jenna dashed to her bedroom, a small figure sitting upright in bed, eyes wide with tears. "I was scared." Jenna enveloped her daughter in a tight hug, drinking in the warmth of her child, her heart easing slightly. "I'm here now, sweetie. You're safe. I'll always keep you safe." But that relief was short-lived. A deep thump resounded from the front of the house, vibrating through the walls. Someone was pounding at the door. The mocking laughter from earlier rang terrifyingly clear across the silent space. Jenna pulled Lily closer, terror pounding in her veins. What did they want? "I think they're coming for us," Lily cried, burying her face in her mother's shoulder. Jenna's heart sank, she could feel the weight of the nightmare pressing down on her. Just then, she noticed it. A series of strange symbols carved into the edge of the door frame. There was a connection. A warning. As the pounding grew more urgent, coming in rhythmic bursts, Jenna knew she couldn't run. Not anymore. But what price would she have to pay to uncover the truth, to protect Lily? Together, they stared at the door as it began to splinter. The shadows whispered promises of unspeakable things. Was there still time to escape? The door gave way, revealing a figure cloaked in darkness. His eyes glimmered like two cursed stars. Jenna's breath caught in her throat. "Welcome back, Jenna," he intoned, a sinister smile carving into his features. What did he know about her, about Lily? And what nightmare was unfolding just outside their door? The figure loomed in the doorway, his presence a suffocating mass of dread. Jenna's instincts screamed at her to slam the door shut, but her body felt tethered to the ground, paralyzed by fear. The man stepped forward, brushing aside the fragments of the door like they were mere cobwebs. "You'll find I'm not here to hurt you, Jenna," he said, his voice smooth as oil but dripping with malice. "I come with an offer, a chance for truth." "Truth?" Jenna echoed, her voice barely above a whisper. She tightened her grip around Lily, who trembled in her arms. "Please, stay back," she shouted, desperation clawing at her throat. He snickered, an eerie sound that danced through the darkened hallway. "Your courage, it amuses me. But you'll soon learn that courage only leads to one thing, a revelation. Your revelation and your daughter's destiny." Lily whimpered, her grip tightening around her mother's arm. Jenna frantically glanced around the room, searching for anything that could help them escape. The walls seemed to inch closer, constricting her breath, as shadows swirled like living things in the corners. "Mommy, I'm scared." Lily cried, tears streaming down her cheeks. I know, sweetheart. I know, Jenna whispered, fighting against the growing darkness around her. Leave her alone. Jenna's voice was stronger now, filled with a mother's instinct to protect. What do you want with us? Such righteous anger, the man mused, his eyes twinkling with a malevolent glow. Keep that spirit. You're going to need it. He waved his hand, and the air shifted, becoming heavier, charged with an electric buzz. The lights flickered ominously, casting wild shadows that danced across the walls. In that moment, Jenna felt something shift within her, a deep connection to the symbols she had seen earlier. Whatever these signs meant, they were intertwined with this nightmare. Look around, Jenna. This house holds the answers you seek. Click the locket and uncover the truth, he said, smirking as if he held the reins to a game she hadn't even agreed to play. No. We're not playing anything. She stepped back instinctively, yanking Lily with her, but the darkness pressed in, its weight unbearable. And then she remembered. The stories her grandmother had told her long ago, the ones that made her shudder in fear. Secrets of ancient pacts, of sacrifices made under the cover of night. The symbols were not just warnings, they were gateways. Mommy, what are they? Lily asked, peering up with wide, innocent eyes that only deepened Jenna's resolve. They're nothing, Lily. Monsters can't scare us, right? Jenna tried to sound confident. The man laughed again, a chilling, gravelly sound. How quaint. Denial has its own flavor, doesn't it? But you'll come to learn the price of ignorance is steep. I'm not the true danger. What lies beneath this house is. Jenna's breath quickened as she felt the floor vibrate under her, a heartbeat echoing from the depths of the earth. The walls whispered secrets, teasing her grip on reality. What do you mean? Jenna echoed, her voice trembling as they both leaned toward him, caught between fear and something unidentifiable. I can help you, he said, his expression transforming, revealing a flicker of genuine interest. But you must choose wisely. Your daughter's future rests in your decision. Will you embrace the truth, Jenna? Behind him, shadows began to swirl and deepen, forming grotesque shapes that twirled dangerously close. Each grotesque figure was a reflection of a hidden fear, a suppressed memory clawing to the surface. Cover your eyes, Lily. Jenna shouted, pushing her daughter behind her as she faced the encroaching darkness. What lay ahead was unpredictable and terrifying, an uncertainty that made the air grow thick once more. Choose now, Jenna. The man's voice rose into an ominous pitch, the shadows reaching for her like hungry hands. As the darkness closed in, Jenna's heart raced, teetering on the edge of a fateful decision. Could she accept the truth he hinted at? Or was ignorance worth the bliss of safety? Stand back! She yelled, gripping the locket tight in her hand. In that moment, a pulse of light erupted from the locket, momentarily banishing the shadows. But could it hold the power to change the course of their fate? Let us see who really holds the power, the man sneered, stepping back for the first time, but leaving chaos in his wake. Jenna's world shattered as the truth loomed ahead, a cliff she must now confront, what awaited them in the darkness below. Or was the light only a temporary refuge from the true horrors that lurked beneath their lives? The light from the locket pulsed rhythmically, fighting against the encroaching shadows. Jenna's heart hammered in her chest, the glow illuminating the twisted faces of nightmares that danced just beyond its reach. She felt Lily's small body pressing against her, the little girl's tremors echoing Jenna's own fear. What's happening, Mommy? Lily's voice was barely above a whisper, panic creeping in. Just hold on tight. We'll be okay, Jenna promised, but the uncertainty gnawed at her. The man's expression morphed from amusement to a dark intensity, his gaze fixated on the glowing locket. That's not enough, Jenna. The light will not protect you forever, he taunted, his fingers curling toward it as if he could snatch it away from her. The truth is buried deep, and you need to find it. Close your eyes and listen to the whispers of your home. The house is alive, and it knows your truths. In that instant, the air around them thickened, suffocating, as if the house itself were rising up against her. The shadows recoiled momentarily from the light, swirling back like smoke resisting capture, but Jenna could feel them tightening their grip around the edges of her reality. Lily whimpered, sensing danger. "Mommy, I want to go home." "This is our home, sweetheart." Jenna protested, although the sinking feeling in her gut urged her to deny it. The truth was carving itself into her mind, echoing the stories her grandmother had shared, uncovering dark histories hidden beneath layers of forgotten memories. "I refuse to be afraid. I want to let him take you." "Brave words," the man said, his voice dripping with mockery. "But bravery without knowledge is a foolish gamble. You may just lose everything you love." Jenna gritted her teeth, straining against the doubt creeping into her mind. She had to find the strength to confront whatever horror waited beneath the surface. Suddenly, she remembered the tales of hidden chambers and secret doors connecting the house like arteries. Each symbol she had seen in her grandmother's stories took a different meaning tonight. Were they keys, or warnings? The locket pulsed again, brighter this time, sending shockwaves through the oppressive air. The shadows danced wildly, howling as if the light burned their very essence. With a sudden surge of resolve, Jenna stepped forward, her voice booming, "I will find the truth." The man laughed, a sound that sent chills racing down her spine. "Then don't let the darkness swallow you whole." With a flick of his wrist, the shadows surged forward, rushing at her like a tidal wave, hungry to extinguish the light and smother the warmth of courage. In a fierce contest of wills, Jenna felt the locket's power coursing through her and lifted it high. "Show me," she shouted. "Let me see the truth." The moment she spoke, the locket exploded with brilliance. Light spilled from it like molten gold, illuminating the room with an otherworldly glow. Dark figures twisted and moaned under its brightness, revealing their true forms, twisted apparitions of regret and rage, lost souls tangled in the fabric of the house. Jenna recoiled as memories rushed forth, suffocating her, images of painful sacrifices, cries of despair from ancestors she had never known. Each flickering light offered her glimpses of untold stories, urging her to reclaim what had been denied. "Can you feel it?" the man yelled over the cacophony. "The truth you shunned. The choices that haunt your bloodline. It's all right here. In this very house. What do I do?" she screamed, desperately searching for a way to navigate the chaos. "Embrace it. Embrace your legacy," he roared, the shadows swirling furiously around him, feeding off his power. Jenna's hands tightened around the locket, the pulse of the light sinking with her racing heart. Could the truth truly save them, or was it the key to their doom? "Lily!" she yelled, steering her daughter closer. "We have to face it together." As the shadows began to retreat but narrowed again, seeking a new victim, Jenna held her breath, feeling the weight of a decision hang in the air. She could not flee. Not now. The locket flared one last time, illuminating a hidden door behind the darkness, one marked with ancient symbols she could finally decipher. What lay behind that door was unknown, but through it they might find the truth, or unleash the terror lurking beneath. Would Jenna and Lily find redemption, or would they stumble into a deeper nightmare? Jenna's breath quickened as she stared at the door, the locket radiating warmth against her freezing palms. The shadows momentarily paused, as if caught in a trance by the light emanating from the locket. Lily's small hand gripped her tightly, her eyes wide with a mix of fear and curiosity. "Mommy, what's behind there?" Lily asked, her voice trembling. "I don't know," Jenna admitted, her heart thundering. "But we have to see. We're not running anymore." As she reached for the doorknob, her fingers hesitated. The air tasted like copper and fear. The man stood behind them, a predator watching its prey, ready to pounce as soon as they made a wrong move. "Open it," he urged, a sinister glint in his eyes. "Discover what you've tried so hard to forget." With a deep breath, Jenna pushed the door open, its creaking hinges echoing like a mournful wail through the dark room. Beyond the threshold lay a narrow staircase leading down into the depths of the house, dimly lit by slivers of light, flickering like dying stars in the oppressive darkness. "Stay close, Lily," Jenna instructed, her voice barely steady. They descended cautiously, the stairs creaking under their weight, each step sounding like thunder in the silent house. As they reached the bottom, a cold draft swept through the small chamber, weaving through the shadows. The walls were lined with old photographs, each one depicting scenes of family gatherings that felt strangely familiar yet utterly foreign. Faded faces watched them intently, eyes swirling with unspoken stories, shadows lurking behind the smiles. "What are they?" Lily whispered, eyes darting around. "They're our family," Jenna replied, squinting at the images that hinted at long-buried secrets. "I think they want us to remember." But as Jenna studied the photographs, a feeling of dread seeped into her bones. There were stories in those smiles, shadows of despair lurked in the corners, tainting the joy with something sinister. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifted, the dim light flickering ominously. One photograph caught her eye, a family standing together, but the baby in the mother's arms had no face. "Mommy!" Lily gasped, pointing at the photo. "That baby, it's not real." Jenna's heart raced. I don't know." The shadows began to swirl around them again, whispering with urgency, growing louder until the sound mingled with her pounding heart. The locket flickered desperately in Jenna's grip, breaking through the encroaching darkness like a lighthouse beacon in a storm. "Embrace your truth." The man's voice echoed from above, mocking her. "The house is your past, Jenna. You can't run from it." "Shut up!" Jenna shouted back, anger fueling her as she turned to face the void behind her. The shadows shrieked, a cacophony of torment, and for a fleeting moment, she felt their despair, their longing for escape. "We can't let them take us, Lily." She clutched her daughter tighter, the truth beginning to claw its way to the surface. Memories bubbled up, her grandmother's tears, whispered warnings, stories lost in time. Then she saw it, an engraving carved into the wall at the far end of the chamber. A name, hers, and the date of a tragedy that rocked their lineage to its core. "What's happening?" Lily whimpered, sensing the heaviness in the air as it thickened with palpable fear. "It's our family's legacy," Jenna said, transfixed by the name. But before she could finish, the shadows surged toward them, a leviathan of darkness drawn to the light of the locket. Jenna's heart raced, she could feel them pressing against her, hungry for her fear, aching to drag them back into the abyss. "Mommy!" Lily cried, eyes wide with terror. With a sharp decision, Jenna raised the locket, shouting, "I want to let you take us." The light exploded anew, pushing against the suffocating darkness. But this time, the shadows fought back with a brutal force, yanking at the edges of her reality. As the light clashed with the shadows, Jenna caught a glimpse of something swirling within the darkness, a vision of the past threatening to consume her. "Find the truth!" the man bellowed, his voice barely audible through the chaos. "It is your only hope." Jenna could feel the weight of a choice bearing down on her. Would she delve deeper into the horrifying past or flee from the revelations lying just beyond reach? In the heart of shadows, with the locket's heat burning brighter than ever, Jenna knew the next step would determine everything. The air throbbed with a sickening tension, and as the onslaught of darkness pressed close, her voice rang out, "I will find the truth together." But the moment she stepped forward, a scream echoed through the chamber, piercing the veil of shadows, sending shockwaves of cold panic coursing through the air. What had awakened within the depths would be unleashed, and there was no going back. Could Jenna withstand the truth, whatever horrors it held, or would the house claim them both in the end? Jenna's heart stopped, the scream reverberating through her bones like a death knell. It wasn't a random sound, it was too filled with anguish, too familiar. The shadows recoiled slightly, allowing the flickering light from the locket to push back against their relentless advance. "Mommy, I'm scared." Lily cried, her voice rising in pitch, eyes darting between the swirling darkness and her mother. "I know, baby. Just hold on tight," Jenna whispered, bone-deep fear surging through her veins. She focused on the engraving on the wall as if it could anchor her to reality, a lifeline amidst the chaos. The name, Jenna, would haunt her forever. It was impossible. Who had she become? Why are they screaming? Lily pressed, her small fingers digging into Jenna's arm. Before Jenna could respond, the shadows howled again, the cacophony washing over them like icy water. A shape began to take form within the chaos, a figure flickering in and out of sight, a face that twisted between familiar and grotesque. The locket pulsed violently in Jenna's grip, its golden warmth shifting to a searing burn. "Do you want to see them?" The figure hissed, voice a serpentine whisper that made Jenna's skin crawl. "See who?" Jenna demanded, her voice barely above a murmur, every instinct screaming at her to flee. "Your family, all of them. The ones you let down." The shadows thickened, and in a surge of darkness, Jenna saw the face her grandmother, eyes glazed with sorrow, mouth opening in a silent scream. "No. Please," Jenna begged. But the shadows didn't relent. Instead, they twisted, coiling tighter around her and Lily. The photographs on the walls flickered into life, grotesque scenes flashing before her eyes. Each detail twisted with anguish. A family gathering turned into a funeral, laughter morphing into wails of despair. Jenna's head spun, memories she had buried clawing their way to the surface. Then, the locket blazed bright. Instinctively, Jenna raised it higher, and in the sudden illumination, the phantom figures recoiled, shrieking at the light. It didn't just illuminate, the locket revealed. It pulled at threads of her past with a force she couldn't understand. "Embrace it." The man's voice echoed again, now mingling with the cries of the shadows. "Face what you've hidden, or perish with your lies." Jenna felt heat surge through her, a wave of defiance washing over her intense fear. "You want me to remember? Fine. I'll remember everything." She shouted. Suddenly, the air thickened with tension, and the shadows recoiled further. The locket blazed like the sun in her hand, and Jenna stepped forward, feeling something shift within her. The photographs morphed, and she was pulled into a vision, a recollection of family secrets, buried truths, and tragedies so deep they felt like knives slicing through her reality. "Mommy." Lily tugged at Jenna, pulling her from the whirlwind of memories. "Don't leave me. I'm right here, sweetie. We can do this together," Jenna reassured, locking her eyes onto Lily's. She could feel the truth bubbling within her, the dark weight of their lineage, and the emptiness of that faceless child. Then, as the light grew brighter, Jenna caught one last glimpse of the shadowed figure, its laughter chilling to her core. "Remember this, Jenna. The past will never stop haunting you. You are tied to it." "Not for long," Jenna swore, determination igniting in her soul. But just as the shadows began to dissipate, a heavy thud echoed from above, the sound of something large falling. The man's mocking laughter washed over her once more, echoing as they began to scatter. "Remember you are not alone." Before Jenna could process the ominous warning, the room plunged into darkness, the locket's glow flickering dangerously. The scream, now a part of her own memories, rang in her ears, a promise that the truth was far more perilous than she could comprehend. Jenna turned to Lily, gripped by terror of what was about to come. "We need to go back." But as the shadows surged anew, one last question formed in her mind, whispering like a haunted breeze. What if the truth wasn't meant to be set free? A creeping realization settled in. This wasn't just about survival anymore. This was about facing the darkness they were both entwined with, what awaited them as they fought through the storm. Jenna's breath hitched as the darkness swirled like a living entity, clawing at her sanity. The locket flickered unsteadily, its once blinding glow now a feeble flicker battling against the clamoring shadows. Every instinct urged her to run, to flee into the night and leave it all behind, but there was no escape for them. "Not now. Mommy, Mommy." Lily cried, tugging at her sleeve, her eyes wide and shimmering with unshed tears. I don't want to stay here. Jenna clutched her daughter, feeling the erratic thump of her heart thrumming in tandem with the mounting dread. The growths of the shadows coiled tighter around their feet, whispering fragmented truths that danced just beyond comprehension. The walls trembled as they bore witness to Jenna's buried memories. Each whisper sent chills down her spine, mingling with the stagnant air thick enough to choke on. She was trapped beneath layers of misgiving, exposed to the truth like an open wound. Show me. She screamed, the words escaping before she could think better of them. The shadows twisted. Faces materialized, flickering and distorting, revealing glimpses of her family past. Her mother, once vibrant, now mere bones of sorrow, her eyes pleading and filled with regret. Her father's scornful gaze tortured Jenna from within the darkness, a reminder of every failure she tried to forget. Jake, no, not him, she shuddered, recalling her brother's sweet face twisted in fear. It was the very last memory she wanted to hold, but now it was laid bare. What had happened to him? What had she done? No, no, no. She muttered, gripping the locket as it threatened to slip from her fingers. Face your sins. The hiss of the shadows enveloped her, wrapping around her throat, tightening with a grip that threatened to squeeze the very life out of her. Follow the haunting echoes of your past. You know what you've done. Lily broke free momentarily, her small hands trembling as she darted through the dim light, seeking solace. Jenna called out for her, panic slicing through her, the realization that she was about to lose everything once more. Mommy. Lily's voice quivered as she stumbled upon a thick, dark fog, dark figures swirling around her, whispering secrets that Jenna had tried to suppress. The locket flared up again, the thrill of light finding her daughter's shadowy form, illuminating the truth beneath the surface. Get away from her. Jenna yelled, launching toward Lily. She pushed through swirling shapes, forcing the darkness back, but their grasp was insidious. The shadows shrieked, angry for the intrusion, and Jenna felt every cry cut through her like knives. Mommy. I see them. Lily pointed, her small body quaking as cold dread washed over her. They are all around us. Why can't we get out? Close your eyes, sweetheart. Jenna shouted, fear interwoven with desperation. Just hold on to me. But it was too late. The walls echoed with laughter unnatural and twisted, a chorus of tragic mirth. The shadows grew thicker, their presence suffocating, and Jenna could almost hear the words, you can't escape. They're waiting for you. Who? Who's waiting? Jenna's throat constricted, fear knotted around her ribcage. The ones you left behind. With that, shadows recoiled and began to shift, drawing in closer. Jenna desperately jolted backwards, yanking Lily to her chest as if her love alone could shield them. As the shadows laughed louder, their voices climbing into a chilling cacophony, a blinding flash erupted from the locket, a fierce spiral of light engulfing its surroundings. In that moment, Jenna caught a glimpse of a doorway emerging through the shadows, a flicker of hope breaking through the despair. But something lurked just beyond it, waiting, ancient and hungry. Mommy, what is it? What could she tell her? What awaited them on the other side? Jenna took a deep breath, resolute. We have to find out together. But as they moved towards the door, an icy whisper brushed against Jenna's ear. You can't bring her back. The heaviness in the air thickened, and doubt began to fester again in her mind. The shadows writhed, and Jenna could sense their impending wrath. What if stepping through meant facing the ultimate darkness? What if they weren't just escaping their past, but stepping into an even worse fate? Jenna hesitated, fear splintering her resolve. The truth waits, the shadows sang, their voices laced with malice, promising both freedom and destruction. As the door loomed closer, Jenna was left wondering, was the truth a path to salvation or a gateway to deeper damnation? Jenna's heart raced as the door pulsed ahead, beckoning like a siren in the storm, and she clutched Lily tighter. Was she leading them into light or a trap? What if it's worse? Jenna's voice trembled, but she steeled herself. She had the locket. It had protected them so far. With each step, the ground beneath them shifted, shadows clawing at their legs, pulling back like oily tendrils. "Mommy!" Lily whimpered as she stumbled, her small feet caught in the grip of unseen forces. "Hold on, sweetheart." Jenna's voice shook with urgency as she leaned down, pulling Lily free from the grasping darkness. The locket flared again, a desperate flare illuminating their path, revealing twisted faces in the shadows, mouths twisted in screaming laughter. "No!" Jenna yelled at them, angry now. "You don't get to take her. Not again." A sliver of courage pierced her fear. She pushed forward, Lily unwaveringly right behind her, eyes wide but trusting. Together, they plunged toward the door, the air thickening around them until it felt like swimming against a current of despair. "Mommy, I feel them." Lily's voice quaked like a leaf in the wind. Jenna turned back, urgency fueling her. "Then we need to move faster." As they reached the threshold, the door creaked ominously, revealing only stars beyond, an endless expanse of darkness punctuated by pinpricks of silvery light. "Together, right?" Jenna asked, looking at her daughter for reassurance. "Together." Lily echoed, her tiny voice igniting joy against the horror suffocating them. Jenna pushed open the door, and they stumbled through together. A blast of cold air met them, wrapping around them like a shroud. Lily cried out, nearly pulled away by swirling shadows that screamed back through the door, angry and desperate. "No! Hold on, Lily!" Jenna shouted, her eyes wide as they both fell to the ground, the cold biting at their skin. Across the void, Jenna caught sight of a figure. Someone familiar. Her brother, a silhouette trapped in the swirling void, his face pale, mouth opened in silent terror. "Jake!" she cried, reaching out instinctively, but the shadows hissed, lashing out at her like a warning. The laughter grew louder, echoing around them, filling her ears. "You can't save him!" they jeered, their voices shifting and blending. "He's already lost. Just like the others." "No!" Panic surged through her veins. Lily gasped at her side, "Mommy, don't let them take you." Jenna felt her resolve wavering. She turned to Lily, gathering every ounce of strength. "We need to face this together, remember?" But the darkness pressed in, suffocating and potent. Jenna squeezed her eyes shut, envisioning light, anything to counter the grasp of despair. An idea surged like electricity. "Illuminate the truth, show us." She whispered to the locket, emboldened by her words. A desperate plea, with a violent pulse, the locket burst forth a blinding light. For a moment, the darkness retreated, revealing glimpses of her family's past, both the joyful memories and the darkest secrets. But for every loving laugh, there were flickers of pain, shadows of betrayal edgelit against a canvas of gold. "Mommy! They're coming back!" Lily screamed, the shadows returning with a vengeance, their yells spiraling out of control, drowning Jenna in a cacophony of chaos. Jenna's heart threatened to break under the pressure. "What must I do?" she cried, her voice cracking against the roar. "The truth is buried deep," the shadows taunted, their whispers chilling her to the bone. "Face it, or lose one another forever. Lily, please, close your eyes, and trust me." But the chaos rose to a peak, the laughter reached a fever pitch, and she had begun to doubt her own strength. What more could they take? She was losing control, and Jake's figure shimmered, fading into the shadows. The choice loomed ahead, her family's past entwined with their future, but would it lead them to safety or greater horror? As Jenna looked into the swirling darkness, a horrifying voice echoed in her mind, "You can never go back," and for a fleeting moment, she thought she felt thin icy fingers grasp her from the void behind, pulling her toward Jake, toward the heart of their family's darkest days. "Mommy!" With one last glimmer of resolve, Jenna propelled herself forward, knowing the only way through was to face the truth. Together, Lily. Just as Jenna broke through the dark boundary, a piercing shriek enveloped them, leaving Jenna to wonder, had she stepped into freedom or a new, horrifying nightmare? What awaited them next, just beyond the blinding light? The world twisted and morphed around Jenna and Lily, the blinding light swallowing them whole. For a split second, everything was silent. A vast expanse of white filled their vision, offering them no clarity, no direction. Jenna held Lily tightly, desperately trying to tether her daughter to her. And then, all at once, the light exploded into colors, vivid reds and blues swirling with shadows, a kaleidoscope of memories both inviting and horrifying. The laughter from before echoed faintly, whispering promises of the past, but now there was a newfound clarity. It was no longer just about running, it was about confronting the darkness that tethered their family to this malevolence. Jenna felt the locket pulse in her hand, its warm glow a reassuring spark amid the chaos. "Lily, listen to me," she shouted, her voice steady despite the wild array of emotions swirling around them. "We have to choose. Do we face this together, or do we let it tear us apart?" "Together," Lily cried, her small grip around Jenna's arm tightening. With that, Jenna stepped forward into the swirling mass of colors and shadows, the resolve surging within her. "We embrace it," she declared, raising the locket high above their heads. "We stand together against the darkness." As if in response to their solidarity, the shadows recoiled briefly, hissing and swirling, desperately trying to reclaim their power. The vibrant colors around them dimmed momentarily, but Jenna refused to back down. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the chaos, a familiar silhouette that swirled into focus. It was her grandmother, standing with weary eyes. "You must remember," she urged, her voice filled with both urgency and warmth. "The legacy is not just pain. There is also love. You must reclaim what has been lost." Jenna's heart swelled. "I understand," she said, memories flooding back of family gatherings, laughter, tears, not just sorrow but moments of connection and warmth. "We can't forget, and we won't let fear dictate our fate." The shadows shrieked, boiling with fury. "You think you can change the past?" they roared, each twisted face flickering in and out of existence. "You will suffer like the rest. You belong in the darkness." But Jenna felt a fire building within her. "No. We won't suffer. We confront what you want us to hide." The locket pulsed again, and a blinding beam shot through the shadows. Instant clarity struck as the truth peeled back layers she'd buried for too long. Twisting images of betrayal intertwined with love unveiled the sacrifices her family had made. They were neither demons nor angels. They were people shaped by choices, deep flaws and profound love just like her. "What are you trying to hide?" she shouted into the fray. "Is it the truth that you fear?" Suddenly, the laughter quieted, replaced by tortured wails. The shadows twitched, struggling against the light. Jenna could feel the energy shifting, could hear the chains of her family's dark past breaking. "Leave her alone." Lily's voice rose above the din, fierce despite her small size. "You're just scared of the truth." With her daughter's encouragement fueling her, Jenna stepped closer, bearing the weight of the revelations on her shoulders. She looked into the eyes of the shadows and saw fear reflected back, an ancient terror that they could not escape. "We will not allow you to bind us any longer." At that moment, the light from the locket illuminated a path, a door emerging from the shadows, and figures, once trapped, began to dissipate, their anguished faces easing into serene smiles. They were free at last, their stories finally told. "Mommy, look!" Lily pointed as familiar faces appeared, once lost in darkness, now surrounded by warmth. The image of Jenna's brother, Jake, emerged, not in agony, but smiling, a glow of forgiveness wrapping around him. "You can do it, Jen," he called softly, his face radiating love, urging her to let go of the chain binding her to their grief. Tears streamed down Jenna's cheeks. "I'm sorry, Jake, I should have fought harder. I'm proud of you. Always have been, he replied, his voice fading into the light. As they rushed to the door, Jenna felt the shadows grasp frantically, but their grip weakened, helpless against the light as she and Lily crossed the threshold. What is happening? Lily whispered, eyes wide with wonder. We're breaking free, sweetheart. Together. With a final push, they burst through the door, a flood of warmth wrapping around them. Shadows whimpered helplessly as the brilliance engulfed them. The past's grip snapped away, and Jenna felt weightlessness take over. They landed in their living room, the morning sun streaming through the windows, illuminating every corner of space. We did it. Lily chirped, jumping into Jenna's arms. Jenna laughed, a sound full of disbelief and relief. We really did. The fear that once clung to them like vinegary shadows evaporated, leaving behind only sunlight and love. Jenna held Lily tightly, knowing that although darkness may always linger, they had faced it together. Their past would never be erased, but it also wouldn't define them. Let us make new memories, starting now, Jenna said, wiping away joyful tears. And as they embraced the warmth of a new day, the locket on the table pulsed softly, no longer just a relic of their family's pain but a beacon of resilience, forever reminding them, they had faced the darkness and emerged stronger, side by side. Remember, each encounter with darkness has the power to shape your fate. Don't miss out on our next adventure. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss out on exclusive stories. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and show your support. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this ending. And instantly share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. This is the moment to demonstrate your passion for our journey together. Don't wait even one more second to share.